36
to get the job done and match the score of his fellow Netherlands native in the opener. Tenberg beat Norris 4-2.
Game,
and
shot,
Mueller
and the
records
match.
the same result
Mueller
against Jamie Kelling. The bomb was missing doubles left, right and centre at the start of the match, but a 180 in the penultimate visit helped him over the line. He wins 4-2. We'll be back in a moment.
63.
It's either 2 darts at the double or just 1 at the smallest target.
Game shot on the third
on target once
Alex
again.
Small.
Brown missing that solitary dart at the ball. That's all he's had in the whole match.
2.
Plenty of time on his hands, but he'll want to get this wrapped up early. It's tops. A nice
Game
15
shot on the
dart
fourth
leg.
leg. John
When
Brown.
you've got the throw, 15 darts.
Alex can require
In play
18.
here on the 18.
Game
I would not be surprised
shot
hitting the double
and the
9
match.
either. A 4-1
Alex
victory
Small.
there for Alex Small. Good way to start the day, and he's up and running. Coming up next, Joey Tenberg, Jamie Kelling. He sure remembers how to hit the big stuff.
$137.
Hitting some big stuff here. He is actually on a possible 10 darter now. Dare he? Chris Mason did it here. Everyone remembers that. Bullseye for a 10 dart finish. Will he be
Joey
tempted?
require 50.
He was tempted. He's left double 17.
Game shot on
And
the
he's
second
found
leg.
it to avoid some
Joey
blushes
Tenberg.
in the end there.
Require
Usual route starting on the
119.
19s.
This one's a horrible finish for this reason. You hit the treble and you still feel like you need another treble. I think he's gone for a
Double 18, yeah.
double 18, yeah. Yeah, I think he's gone for a double-double on the 18s, and luckily for him, he's missed it, because that would have been bust.
The 129 shot he's gone for rather than the 119 shot.
So as I was saying, the 119 is a horrible shot, because if
You've got no idea how to take
64.
it out, yeah.
Jamie require 86.
Well, this is conventional, 86. A single 18. Might be near the double, this. Oh, well, made me look silly, didn't he? Double 7.
72. Joey require 55.
Right, let's help you out here, Joey. Big 15 for tops.
Game
See,
shot
when he
on the
knows what
third
he's going
leg.
for, he can do
Joey
it.
Tenberg.
He can do the application. It's just the working outside that seems to be a problem for Joey at the moment. His own expectations.
Jamie require
He'd
100.
have expected a little bit more in that situation, or a bit more of himself in this game. And when you get to that point, even taking a shot like this 100 might not even get a positive reaction.
You can see that he'd left plenty of room there. He could see it.
Game
So
shot
the
on the
pause
fifth
was
leg.
only about
Jamie Kelling.
calming himself down, making sure he was ready.
A couple of big darts here. Well, there's one straight away, sat lovely in the board. You might find all three.
180.
pressure.
Joey require
It's
89.
big pressure. A lot on this first dart, as Matt mentioned earlier. Now it might only be one at the bull. He gets a go at double 5,
79.
but can't find it. And that maximum
Jamie
has put
require
Kelling
28.
in with a real chance.
To get his first points on the board. In a 50-50 split, he lost his opening game 4-2 to Ron
Game,
Muellenkamp,
shot,
and he wins
and the
this one
match.
4-3. You
Jamie
can see what it
Kelling.
means to him. A good game with 5 maximums shared between the two goes the way of Jamie Kelling. Coming up next, John Brown and Alan Norris.
Let's
John,
find
you
it, and it
require
gives Brown a
96.
chance to hold on to his throat.
I'm going to make a prediction in the next leg, so stay tuned for that one. It might not be too far away.
Game shot on the first
Nice finish
leg.
there from Steve
John
Brown.
Brown.
Steve Brown, John Brown.
John, you require 56.
Double top. Double 10.
Game
John Brown
shot
gets the
and
job
the
done
match.
in
John
impressive
Brown.
fashion. An average just shy of 86, but an emphatic 4-0 victory to pick up his first points, and the day looks a lot brighter for him and a lot more miserable for Chuck Norris, still languishing on 0. Game 6 coming up in a short while. Ron Muellenkamp will take on Alex Small.
I got
Require
looked, and
95.
I think he did the right thing there to come across. Same sort of thing here. Small has to
Game
move
shot on
across
the
to open
second
it up,
leg.
and he opens
Alex
it up
Small.
perfectly. Alex Small finds the bullseye.
Ron, you
Now, whatever you
require
do, Ron, don't start on
118.
18s. It would be very silly. That's the way. Because you find that treble, you can hit that single and then get a dart at that double.
98. Alec, you require 40.
Same double that Alex Small's going to be looking at to win this
Game,
match, and he
shot,
does. Alex
and the
Small
match. Alex
takes
Small.
his second victory of the day. He's 100.
104.
Hasn't really been in any leg in this match.
I feel if he's going to be, it's going to be on the mistakes of Joey rather than chances
Game
that he's
shot on
earned.
the
But there's
third
no
leg.
mistakes here from Joey Tenberg.
And he just
Joey required
raised his
40.
eyebrows and then tried to adapt but couldn't do it. And Tenberg gets another
Game,
go, and
shot,
this time
and the match.
he
Joey
seals
Tenberg.
the deal. A 4-1 success for Joey Tenberg, a second win of the day for the Dutchman. He beats John Brown by 4 legs to 1. Coming next, Jamie Kelling meets Alex Small.
Kelling. Instead, he's got to watch double 12.
Game shot on the
And
first
double 12
leg.
go in there for Alex
Small.
Small, who, for some reason, doesn't seem too happy with himself.
Next round, he was on a double after 10 darts in this leg. He may lose the leg. 10 or a 6. 10 it is.
Game
What
shot
a
on the
pinch
second
that
leg.
is from Jamie
Kelling.
Kelling. And now Small really
Jamie required
and it could be
24.
the game finished as Kelling looks to
Game,
defeat
shot,
Alex Small, and
and
it
the
is
match.
the first defeat
Jamie
for
Kelling.
Small of the day so far.
Required
Harder it
94.
appears to be for him.
Game shot on the
This is better
second
from Ron
leg.
Muehlenkamp
Ron
by
Muehlenkamp.
significant distance. A nice 15 dart leg there for Ron.
He
As
required
this, he would have lost
156.
3 and will be, by that rule, a defeat away from not being able to qualify. So this would help.
Game shot
where's
on the
that come
third
from?
leg.
Where
Alan
has it come
Norris.
from?
Back to 40.
Ron,
but
you
he'll only get a
require
chance
82.
if Muehlenkamp cannot take this 82.
So this for the match. 17 leaves tops.
Game shot
Muehlenkamp
and the
nails
match.
it
Ron
to defeat Alan
Muehlenkamp.
Norris 4-1. It's been the worst possible start for Alan Norris. His base has been effectively chucked out of the tournament before his weeks got going. But Muehlenkamp marches to his second victory, a 4-1 success. And when we return, John Brown will be in action, taking on Jamie Kelling. We had a look to check what Jamie Kelling was on and realised he didn't need to go 20 bull on the 130 attempt.
140.
Now,
John, you require
Kelling is
43.
tapping on his shoulder. Double 16.
Game shot on the fifth
Decent
leg.
stuff from John Brown, because when you are struggling, that just shows a little bit of character, doesn't it?
require 112.
For Jamie Kelling to get a win, which would see him go top of the table. And double top will get him there. And that's
Game,
exactly
shot,
what he's
and
done.
the
A
match,
fabulous
Jamie
finish.
Kelling.
Another win for Jamie Kelling, who defeats John Brown 4-2, and in doing so moves on to 6 points and is the man to catch in Group C. Trying to catch him, 2 players on his shoulder. Coming next is the battle of the Dutch duo, Ron Muehlenkamp against Joey Tenberg. Half an
Require
hour as well, won't it?
129.
We'll try and get it out of him, but we'll see. Will he go out here?
Game
Fabulous
shot on the
finish
second
that from
leg.
Joey
Joey
Tenberg, who
Tenberg.
doubles his lead on Ron Muehlenkamp. Absolutely brilliant finish, 129. So we've
Joey
kept himself in
requires
this one.
16. Game shot
But that is
and the match. Joey
the end
Tenberg.
of the match, and it is a ton-topping average for Joey Tenberg, 100.2, an average of 15 darts per leg. He wins 4-0.
Require
Points, he says,
81.
no, they are all the same.
Game shot on the first
Well,
leg.
it's all going
Alex
the same
Small.
way for Alan Norris as well, because the first leg is in the ledger under the name of Small.
25.
To give him that opportunity.
Well, for once, Alex Small is taking a moment here,
Game shot
and it's
and
worked
the match.
a treat in
Alex
the end.
Small.
Alan Norris will not need a new set of darts in this match because the game is over. Missed 4 darts to win. It would have been his first win of the day, but it's Alex Small who gets the job done in the end, and in doing so joins Jamie Kelling and Joey Tenberg on 6 points in a 3-way tie at the top of Group C. Ron Muehlenkamp will play John Brown. After the break, Ron Muehlenkamp
86.
bust his score intentionally in the end there, but he's offered Brown an opportunity that really he shouldn't have had. And he's getting 2 at double. And he
Game shot on the
only needs
fifth leg.
one. Well, Ron
John
Mueller
Brown.
did everything right in that leg until the very end. Another one of those darts that he's just tossed away in disgust, and he'll feel it's a match that he's
Game
tossed away
shot
here.
and the
John
match.
Brown winning
John
it
Brown.
4-2 in the end. But Ron Muehlenkamp, in legs and in the game itself, put himself in a very strong position, only to be beaten by Brown, whose victory keeps him in the race tomorrow. Alan Norris, Jamie Kelling coming next. Near the race,
Jamie requires
qualification
78.
for finals night. Kelling can end his
Game
day
shot
on a
and the
low,
match.
and Alan Norris
Jamie
will end the
Kelling.
day without any points to his name. Kelling has 4 wins from his 5. That 78 checkout kind of typifies his day, and the whole display typifies that of Alan Norris, who ends on no points from 5. Kelling goes to the top of the table, at least temporarily. The two players right in his rearview mirror, Joey Tenberg and Alex Small, will play in the last match of the session. Pole position to do the same, a maximum to spark this one into life.
43.
And
Alec required
threaten
20.
a break a throw in the very first leg of it. Double 10. Double 5.
Game shot on the
Bound by
first
Small,
leg.
who's off
Alex
to a big
Small.
start.
Joey required 28.
Big dart.
No score.
Big miss. Could
Alec
be.
required 40.
Get the pen back out.
Game
Yeah,
shot
Alex
on the
Small
third leg. Alex
Like
Small.
he's been gifted that one. That must be the worst leg he's won all week. For today.
80.
Double 5 for a little more
Game shot on the fourth leg.
found.
Joey Tenberg.
by the Dutchman. Almost did himself a little bit of damage retrieving the dart there.
Fifth leg. 66.
So this to wrap it up. Double 18.
Game
And
shot
Alex Small
and the
gets
match.
the job done.
Alex Small.
4-2 success against group rival Joey Tenberg, who departs the stage. He'll finish on 6 points. Alex Small, though, moves on to 8 alongside Jamie Kelling. And to end the day's action, it's time to talk to Matt Edgar alongside Henry Deacon.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. Yes, Matt alongside me up here on the balcony, and maybe our most pivotal game of the day could well have been the last.
Yeah, it was a really good game, actually. I thought at 3-0, Alex Small was just going to wrap that up and get that done quite quick. But then he started to sort of lose his way a little bit. And then when we look at Joey Tenberg, his performance went up. But that last leg from Alex Small, real quality, shows why he's got one of those big titles.
Well, it is a tight-looking table. This is hit on the screen now, just below you now. Jamie Kelling is top by metric of head-to-head. That is how tight it was on Thursday.
And that's just the overnight table. We've got another day of play to go tomorrow, and I think we're going to see very similar to what we've seen so far here in terms of people just beating each other. Let's try again. We'll start again. Rewind. A mention for Alan Norris, currently sat bottom of the table at the moment. I just saw him on the way past, and he's just said to me there like how frustrated he is. But he's frustrated, but yet he's still been playing well in parts. And tomorrow he's not going to feel that frustration because in terms of the table, that's no longer scoreboard pressure. The only pressure is going to come internally from him. He could play a part in this tomorrow because he could then start to beat some of these players. It'll be interesting to see that dynamic.
Well, let's break today down a bit more chronologically. We've spoken about Alex Small. Let's speak about Joey Tenberg because we said it at the top of the show. We feel like he's getting better every day, and he's put himself right in the midst, even though he lost that last game, to go on and possibly get that Saturday night spot.
He was brilliant up until that last game. That average beforehand, an average of over 100. It's the second time we've seen 100 average so far this week. Only Jim Long hitting one as well. So Joey Tenberg putting himself in elite company in that sense, and he's used to elite company. He's played in elite company for a lot of his career when he was actually travelling and going on that international tour. So we've seen him start to find some of that form back. He's had 2 really good performances today, and I don't write him off yet as being somebody who's going to go through this group.
Elsewhere, Ron Muehlenkamp, did it feel like towards the end he was putting a little bit too much pressure on himself?
We've said this all week, that there's something wrong this week with Ron Mueller. Not this season, there's something wrong this week. Something's not working. His throw is completely breaking down at times. It's pausing at the back with that lift in the shoulder. Technically wise, he's then having to force. He's got to put more force and push into the throw, which is just going to cause him to go high and low all the time. You can see the frustration coming through. He's almost throwing darts away at times. Ironically, they're the better ones.
Well, you guys were speaking in commentary about how he's just came off the Pro Tour. He's come into this for the first time. He's having a good season on the Challenge Tour Order of Merit as well. And you said, well, maybe the expectation for him would be different to other players out of the respect that because he's just came off the Pro Tour, that there's expectation for him not just to turn up here, but to turn up here and do some serious damage. And maybe when it doesn't quite happen, as it doesn't seem to be this week for Ron, can that pile that added pressure on yourself?
If the expectation isn't there, it will be internally for someone like Ron Mueller. I mentioned on commentary that he'd been watching this sort of thing and the Super Series, and he'd been seeing what's going on away from the PDC and the Pro Tour and the sort of the top end of elite darts. And when you're in that position, you look at me and go, well, I'd win that and I'd win that. And you see people like last year, Scott Williams, winning so much money off of all the various tours. He'd have been looking at that going, well, I want a bit of that. Now he's here and he's got the opportunity to do that. You realise it's a lot harder than you thought.
What is your assessment of John Brown's day?
I think it's been most of the week. It's been a little bit in and out. It's been on an upwards curve. He's been adding 6 points to his average every single day, which is commendable. Very, very good from starting at the 78. But he just sort of reverted a little bit back to type. And that just makes me question John Brown a little bit, that maybe those better averages was coming when he knew that he was out of the running, and now the scoreboard pressure's back on and we're looking at that league table and the possibility of qualifying. He's just reverted back and just lost those few points.
As for Alan Norris, he gave us some moments, but he'd much rather have the points on the board, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. He'd rather have something on the board right now that was just going to give him a little bit of hope that he can still get through. The best he can get now, if he wins all 5 games tomorrow, is going to be the 10 points, and that's not enough. We've already got 2 players on 8, so whatever happens, Alan Norris is not going to qualify through this group. But he can play a part. We saw moments, the 156, we saw moments with the averages really wasn't that different to the rest of the group. It wasn't like he was throwing regularly in the 70s. He was consistently over the 80s. It's just, I think for Alan Norris, he gets frustrated at times because he knows and he's experienced so much better.
Just quickly about the conditions on stage this afternoon. It's been a very warm afternoon here in Portsmouth on the south coast of England where we hold this competition. And Alex Small was saying to me midway through the session that between matches, what he has been doing is his towel. He's been putting it in the freezer to try and keep things cool. Are the warmer conditions perhaps tougher to play in than cooler conditions?
They're equally as hard. It's somewhere in the middle. Because actually, if you're playing cold conditions, the hand's not going to open very well because you're not going to get as much blood going to the hand, so it's going to affect the release. But then in the heat, it's just going to feel uncomfortable and you're not going to be able to get fully in the zone where you need to be to play the darts. A lot of this, I think, also comes down to ourselves as players and how we manage that, because one thing you can't do is change what happens to us, but we can change how we react to it. I know as soon as the summer comes around, that's when I start eating a little bit better and trying to shed a little bit of the winter coat. And I would also challenge a lot of players to think down that road as well, that actually what we need to do is we need to start thinking a little bit more about the hydration, the nutrition and how we manage ourselves, because the scheduling's only getting stricter and it's getting tougher. But at the same time, the weather's getting warmer. The UK, we didn't used to get this sort of heat waves that we're getting now. So we can't change the weather. We can't demand that the venues change how they cool down the venues. So what we can do is we can change how we approach that and what we bring to the room.
Well, this is just the halfway point of our action here today at the Super Series. We're going to be back tonight for Group B. And my goodness, are we really looking forward to this. The Queen of the Palace is going to be back. We're going to have Berry Van Peer in action. 2 of the best players without a tour card anywhere in world darts. And then we've got some legends of the Super Series. Sean McDonald's coming down. Lee Budgeon, who gets better and better every single time we see him. And Scott Taylor, who averaged 109 in making it to Champions Week last time out. It's not the worst lineup, is it?
I do have a prediction for it. I'll let you know this evening what that's going to be.
You tease.
But it's going to be a tricky group, again, that's going to come down to the wire. I know it's quite cliche to say it's going to run close, but this whole week is going to. When you saw the 12 players in the lineup, it doesn't matter how it broke down, who was in what group, all groups are going to be tightly contested. Well,
that is going to be our attention a little bit later on this evening. Matt, thank you for now. We'll see you around about a couple of hours' time.
With a prediction.
With a prediction. So hang on to your hats and we'll get exactly what Matt Edgar thinks. We'll also have 10 fantastic matches for you as we reach the halfway point of our coverage for the day here at the Modus Super Series. Well, as far as day 1 is concerned in Group C, JK is the MVP. See you later.